workshops and reading books, I would get a little thinner and a lot fatter, and a little thinner and a lot fatter. And there was a time when I was almost 300 pounds. I don't know exactly what it was because I stopped weighing myself after I was 257.
Wow.
But I just kept gaining weight for a while, and I was worse than the weight because I'm 6'4" and I'm modestly muscular, and people said I carried it well. I mean, you could tell, but worse than that was the obsession. You know, I'd be sitting in the room with a suicidal client and thinking, when can I get the next pizza? Or, you know, working with a couple dressed after they found out about an affair, and I'd be thinking, when can I get to the deli? And just dislodge my jaw and empty the contents of the deli tray into it. And it's just like food was always in my mind. What's the next meal? Oh, how delicious is that going to be? How am I going to stop? How am I going to make up for it? You know, am I going to work out more? And being a psychologist was always probably the most important thing to me because I came from a family of 17 psychologists and therapists. And yeah, 17 of them. It's if something breaks in the house, everybody knows how to ask it how it feels, and nobody knows how to fix it. That was a standing joke. But it's really important to me to be a great psychologist, and I think I was pretty good. I never lost anybody. I worked with a lot of suicidal people, but I wasn't as good as I could be because I was thinking about food all the time, and it really bothered me. And psychology is something where it's not like you study it in a book and then put the pieces of the puzzle together for people. There's a little bit of that. It's more like you lend them your soul so that they will love you and trust you enough to go outside of their comfort zone and think new thoughts and do new things. And I couldn't be present. I just couldn't be 100% present, and that bothered me more than anything. Fast forward, you know, until my early 40s, and I'd been married to a woman who traveled for business. So I didn't see her during the week most of the time. I had a lot of time on my hands, and I developed a dual career. And I was working for big food industry, big pharma industry, doing psychological advertising research. And I was on the wrong side of the war. It's kind of like the Marlboro man late in his life. He was contrite. He felt like he did the wrong thing. I did the wrong thing. I was helping them sell sugar and starch and horrible things. But I knew that they were engineering these concentrations of starch and oil and excitotoxins and salt and sugar that were designed to hit the bliss point in the reptilian brain without giving you enough nutrition to feel satisfied. And the result of that was addiction. I know all sorts of other things that they were doing. And I said, well, this is not a psychological problem. This is a very concrete outside force. This has nothing to do with the fact that my mama dropped me in my head when I was a boy, or her mama dropped her in her head. This has to do with pushing physiological evolutionary buttons in the reptilian brain to get people addicted. And, you know, when you look at how the reptilian brain acts, and that's really the seed of food problems. It's the seed of the feast and famine response. It's like a survival drive that says, you know, if it sees something in the environment, it says, do I eat it, do I kill it, or do I mate with it? It's like a bad college drinking game.
Eat it, kill it, or mate with it.
It's very primitive. It's very primitive. Okay. And when you are at Starbucks and there's a chocolate bar at the counter and you promise that you weren't going to have chocolate during the week, and you hear this little voice in your head that says, well, just a couple of bites won't hurt, and it's just as easy to start your diet tomorrow. That's probably because of the activation of that survival drive that says that's where it's making a mistake. That's where the good stuff is. That's where the calories and nutrition are, but it's not really. But it thinks that it is. And then it overrides your best thinking, and it overrides all of your best judgment in the neocortex and the mammalian brain. Like the mammalian brain sits on top of the reptilian brain and says, before you eat, mate, or kill that thing, what impact will that have on the people that you love? And then the neocortex says, before you eat, mate, or kill that thing, what impact does that have on the kind of person you're trying to become in the world? Your role in society, your spirituality or your music, your art, your relationships? What impact does that have?
Sounds like that's the one you want to leverage to
That's the
change
one.
habits.
That's the one you want to leverage. So I know we've had interviews like this before, so I won't go through the whole story. But when I had enough exposure to this type of information, and none of it had to do with my own personal psychology, I said, well, these are outside forces, and maybe loving yourself thin isn't the best way to do. Maybe I can't keep on looking to fill the hole in my heart. Maybe this is more like being the alpha dog of your own mind. Maybe I have to get back up into my upper brain and take control of this lower brain. And then I thought, we do that in other areas. Like if I really had to pee right now, Brian, I would tell my bladder, I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of an important meeting and I'll have to wait, because I'm a civilized person. I committed to the interview, and I actually don't have to pee, thank God. But
I get you though.
Yeah, the same thing. If there's an attractive woman on the street, I wouldn't just run out and kiss her. I would. There are times and ways to do that. Mostly, I would run the other direction because I'm kind of shy and I have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my upper brain would take control, and it would be the alpha dog, and it'll say, "Whoa there, I'm in charge, you aren't." And so why is this any different? It's just a biological urge that feels very powerful. It really presses for discharge. Like if you really got to pee, you really got to pee. When you're really attracted to someone, you're really attracted to someone. But those are perfectly well managed in my life. Why couldn't I do the same thing with food? And I engaged in something very embarrassing at this point. I decided that I was never going to publish this. This was just my own private, internal machinations to control my own eating. I had no idea I was going to be in this position. So I always hesitate a little at this point because it's embarrassing for a sophisticated psychologist like me. But I decided that I was going to draw very clear lines, so I knew what healthy behavior was and wasn't. So I will never have chocolate on a weekday again was one of my first ones. And that if I heard a voice in my head that said, go ahead, Glenn, and have that chocolate because you only have a little bit and it'll be just as easy to start tomorrow. So I would say, whoa, wait a minute. That's not me. That's my inner pig. And chocolate is pig slop on a Wednesday. I don't eat pig slop. I don't let farm animals tell me what to do.
That's the pig.
That was the pig. And as ridiculous, I would call my reptilian brain my pig, as ridiculous as that sounds, it would wake me up at the moment of impulse and give me those extra microseconds to make the right decision. And I wish I could say that I immediately got all better. It was a process. But what did happen immediately was I stopped feeling confused. I didn't feel like, oh my God, there's this mysterious progressive chronic disease inside of me. I didn't feel like there's some emotional issue that I had to solve. I just felt like there was an addictive process. There was a learned behavior that I had to intervene with, and there was an automaticity of it, which needed something very primitive and strong to interfere and put that space between stimulus response so I could make the right choice. Then what I did was I made following the rules paramount. So I kind of forgot about losing weight for a while, and I just decided that what was most important was that I had a set of rules that I could and would follow, because I had to be in charge, not the pig. I had to be in charge, not the lizard brain. And so I would come up with things that didn't really restrict my food in any way, but just changed my behavior and my mindfulness. Like I'll never go back for seconds. I won't eat in front of a screen. I'll always take a deep breath before every bite. I would do those types of things. And it would prove to me that I was capable of taking charge. And so my confidence would build. Most people who are stuck in the throes of overeating have lost their confidence. They start to feel powerless. They feel like get a craving, indulge the craving. And it seems like they've disappeared. But it's not really true. They're always in there to a certain extent. And so that's how I slowly but surely recovered. And my triglycerides and my rosacea and my eczema and a whole bunch of things got better.
Right.
I came down about between 60 and 80 pounds, depending upon when I weigh in, and how much weightlifting I'm doing and all that. But that's how I got to be where I am. And I published the book in 2015, as I was considering divorce,
Mhm.
and it just took off.
Wow.
It just took off. I mean, I knew what to do. I've been in marketing my whole life, but
Right.
I had no idea it was going to take off like this. And now we have more reviews than the Da Vinci Code, and people don't know me by name, but they point at me and they go, "Pig guy, you're the pig guy."
I know you by name.
You know me by name, yeah, yeah.
So this is really interesting. I mean, we've definitely talked about this before, but I learn something new every time that we revisit this. And for those that are listening out there, if you're just joining us late in the program, Dr. Glenn Livingston, Never Binge Again, hang out at the end. We're going to have a free gift for you. But what I'm hearing is, correct me if I am wrong, but one of the key things that you did was you created habits, like taking a deep breath, no chocolate on Wednesday, right? You just started making simple rules to get the confidence back.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the key to step one, getting started?
The step one is making one simple rule.
Rule.
Something that doesn't feel too onerous,
Yeah.
which would be a signal to yourself that you're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And this is for people who don't have any medical urgency to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
But I suggest you put that aside for a couple of weeks and rebuild your confidence first.
Right.
Right. One simple rule.
One simple rule. Yeah, that's great. I mean, so this has worked for food, but I mean, can you relate this to other areas where you've seen it be effective?
Well, I mean, I'm not the first person who bifurcated the mind, cut it into two pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got the idea from a guy named Jack Trimpey, who wrote a book called Rational Recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And he works largely with the black and white addictions, the things you could give up entirely as opposed to having to take the lion out of the cage and walk it around the block a couple of times a day.
Mm-hmm. What would an example of that be?
Drugs, alcohol.
Okay.
There's no nutritional need for drugs or alcohol in the
right, and
the body. You give it up entirely. Yeah.
Okay.
It's even, my system is a little different because if you're addicted to drinking and one drink might cause you to get into a car and may mutilate or kill somebody,
mm-hmm.
then it's not really moral to make mistakes. And so you have to be even harsher, like even more perfectionistic than I would be with food. With food, I teach people to aim with perfection at a very clear bullseye, but to forgive themselves with dignity if they miss. With drugs and alcohol, if you're creating things that are harmful to other people, you really don't have the luxury of missing. You really have to drop it entirely. Yeah.
There's room for error here.
So some people do use my system to moderate alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't design it for that, but some people do successfully use it to moderate alcohol.
Yeah.
I designed it very specifically for food.
For food. Yeah, that's cool. So do you have any other tips for people before we get on to, maybe we can take a few questions in the time that we have? And
well, once you make one simple rule, you have to understand that there's going to be this little voice inside you that wants you to break it. That's natural.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
So you start listening for that voice. And when you hear it, I want you to take what I call a 7-11 breath. Breathe in for the count of 7 and then out for a count of 11.
Wow.
The reason you want to do that is that it starts to shift you from your sympathetic nervous system, which is the emergency action response system.
Yeah.
That says you got to eat that food or you're going to kill somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not literally, my lawyer would want me to say, but it feels like that.
Mm-hmm.
To your parasympathetic nervous system, which says it's okay to rest and digest. When you take 7-11 breaths, it tells the sympathetic system that there's no emergency here. Because if you were being chased by a hungry bear, you'd have to breathe in as much as you possibly could, as quickly as you could. You're
Sure.
You're running, right? So this is the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So that slows down that emergency feeling like you have to eat this thing right now. And then once you've done that, you ask yourselves, okay, I would talk to my inner pig. You can call it a food monster if you don't like the word pig. Okay, food monster, what's your best reason for me to break my rule and overeat right now? And it will have some type of rationalization, like a couple of bites are not going to hurt, or it's just as easy to start tomorrow, or chocolate comes from a cocoa bean and that grows on a plant, so it must be a vegetable.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
there'll be some rationalization. Write it down. Writing is also an upper brain activity, whereas binging is a sympathetic activity, a lower brain activity. And then ask yourself why that's wrong and write that down also. So it's not just as easy to start tomorrow. The way that neurology works, what fires together, wires together. It's called the principle of neuroplasticity if you want to look it up. And if I have the thought that says it's just as easy to start tomorrow, and then I reinforce the craving for chocolate right now because of that thought, two things are going to happen tomorrow. First, I'm going to be more likely to say, just start tomorrow. And so things will cycle down. Secondly, the craving is going to be stronger. So it's actually harder to start tomorrow. You always need to use the present moment to be healthy. The present moment is always your best opportunity to be healthy. So you disempower the rationalization by explaining why the pig was wrong. A calmness should come over you, and then you should feel like you have the opportunity to make the right choice. So that's the basic procedure. There's a lot more to it, but that's the basic procedure.
Mhm.
And if you just start with one simple rule and you start doing that kind of thing, you're going to find a level of control that you probably haven't experienced before. It's not perfect. People can still make mistakes if they want to, but it builds over time if you keep at it.
Oh,
So
this is beautiful.
yeah, that's
So,
what you do.
so taking action right away,
Mm-hmm,
and that action is the 7-Eleven
mm-hmm,
process, right?
mm-hmm.
And then getting like physically engaged with writing it down. Now, can you give us an example like what you might write down? Like I'm not going to eat XYZ or
No, what you write down is why the pig is wrong. So it's what
oh, okay. I
I
missed
just
that
said.
part.
So you write down what the pig says. It's just as easy to start tomorrow. You start your silly
Ah,
diet tomorrow, right? You write
okay.
that down. Why is the pig wrong? The pig is wrong because by the principle of neuroplasticity, what fires together wires together.
Mm-hmm.
If I indulge the craving today, I'm more likely to have the thought again tomorrow, and I'll have a stronger craving tomorrow. That's
Mm-hmm.
what you would write down.
Okay. Very cool.
I can
Very
only
cool.
ever use the present moment to be healthy.
Right. Right. Listen, I want to be respectful of your time here. I know you have another engagement coming up. So and just I want to close up, wrap down. For those of you that are out here listening, thanks for spending some time with Dr. Glenn. I'm going to hang out and answer some questions for you. But what I wanted to do is thank you because what you have provided people is is free access to your book. And I'm going to put the link in the chat here so that people can go in. You enter your email address, and Dr. Glenn is giving you access to Never Binge Again for free. So very generous of you.
Well, thank you. Thanks. So the
Yeah.
Kindle Nook or PDF version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And
I'd
a
love to.
couple of other important things like recorded coaching sessions and
Yeah.
sets of rules that work on different types of dietary philosophies.
Yeah.
Low carb, high carb,
Yeah.
plant-based, meat-based,
That's cool.
point counting, calorie counting. Yeah.
Okay.
Never
Bunch of
binge again. Yep.
information.
Mm-hmm.
Never binge again. Good. So anyway, thank you, my friend. I look forward to seeing you in a few months when I'm down in your area. We'll hang out. Right.
I'll look forward to it.
All right. Be well. Thanks again. Till the
Talk to
next
you
time.
soon. Okay, buddy. Bye.
All right. So we're going to take some questions here that we have that are disability related. Let's have a look here.
Brian, I'm going to head out then. Okay.
All right. Be well.
I'll
Thanks,
see you
Glenn.
then. Okay.
All right. I'm still waiting for video to start. Looking forward to learning today. 64 on Social Security disability. Can I work part-time, $15.25 an hour, 20 hours a week? It's hard for me, but I am raising 2 grandchildren. God bless you. So here's the answer to that. You can earn in 2023 up to $1,050 a month. And you can do that every month without having any complications with your benefits. So I haven't done the math on 15 hours, 1525. But you want to stay under 20 hours a week, and you want to stay under the $1,350. So if you're slightly over it, want to carve back your hours, increase your deductions. Like maybe there's workplace expenses that you have that can bring that amount down. Okay. And let's see, I just got approved for disability, Robert Jones. Awesome. What's next? If you're a member here, let us know, send an email to support@the-disability digest. We can adjust your memberships, so we're no longer sending you the disability approval course to get approved. We would now help you with understanding what to do to keep your benefits, what you can do to maximize your benefits. At some point in time, depending on when you are found disabled, you will be Medicare eligible, that type of stuff. If you are not a member here, I'll put a link in at the end when I put Dr. Glenn's gift in, that you can click the link and come on over and join us. So that's very cool. And Karen, thank you for the feedback with Dr. Glenn. Preparing, we've got questions about CDRs from Robert Jones. The question is not specific, so I'll address it as best I can. We have continuing disability review CDR assistance that is available. On our YouTube channel, there's over 400 videos, but if you search under the keywords CDR, you'll find different segments of a course that we have put out that is available to members. Now, if you're a member and you have CDR concerns, or you're going through one, or you want to know what happens, you can contact us and we will assign you a full 10-part course that was put together with attorney James Mitchell Brown, an industry icon. And he helps you understand what you need to do to prepare for your review, what to do when you get it, like how to fill out the forms, what to say, what not to say, what to do if you're denied, what your options are. Hopefully that doesn't happen. So he covers those. And it's 10 parts, or you can get some of the parts free on the YouTube channel. Okay. About 20% of disability recipients are reviewed annually. So just make sure that you understand what it is, how to handle it, so that you don't have your benefits removed. Okay, yes, we talked about changing your habits. That's why Dr. Glenn was here. He's helped about 1 million people change their habits, primarily with Never Binge Again in the area of food. But you can take the information that he has shared in the free gift that I'm going to put up at the end, and you can leverage that into other areas. So fortunate to have him. Great. BJ, welcome. We look forward to meeting with you coming up soon. I think it's tomorrow. Okay, 1350 is that gross or bring home? The 1350 is if you don't have any deductions that you can use, like on a job, then it's going to be your gross. There are some people that have legitimate workplace deductions that can bring that amount down. So it's going to be the either your, if you have deductions, it'll be your net amount, right? Otherwise, if it's $13.50 a month and you don't have any deductions, that's what it is. Now, let's say you're self-employed or doing, something as an independent contractor, and you would be filing a taxes at the end of the year, which, remember, you want to file your taxes. Then it is the average income throughout the year that you are going to be earning. So it's $13.50, and they're going to look at, how that spread out over the year, right? So that's the two different ways in which to look at it. Okay, what's next here? Moonchild 62 denied round 1 reconsideration, but attorney hired after a denial states do not even have my records yet. when I hired them. I want to ask for determination. I want to ask for determination SSA by having a brief done. Good idea. If you have a good case, and this applies for, in my opinion, and the work that we do, if we're directly working with somebody, if we have an opportunity to win at any level, like even at the initial, we'll write a case theory, full brief at different levels before the hearing, because, there's some information I'm going to release here within the next 10 days that you really want to avoid going to a hearing. There is so much uncertainty, and statistically, when you look at judges' approval rates, there's information about the vocational rehabilitation evaluation, about what jobs that you can do. You just want to, in my opinion, if you're looking for your disability income, you want to avoid that at all costs. So, yeah. All right, I'm up for a CDR this year in September, 3 years. What does a review actually, how long will it be notified? You'll be notified via mail. And the course that we have goes through this in detail, but there's 2 forms. You'll either get one short form or a long form. And there isn't really any indication that I know of that determines if one is more severe than another. And then from there, you can follow the rest of the directions in the course, like how to complete them, should you follow up, what you should do, that type of stuff. Let me see if I addressed everything. Why does a review actually start? Okay. So the review dates for individuals are going to vary. And this is in your award letter. And if it's not in your award letter, I would plan on 3 to 5 years, but the award letters that I see, they have a review date in them. So it could be a year, could be 18 months, could be 3 to 5 years. Okay. All right, Sunshine, welcome. Question about stable account. Happy member here, still learning how to use my stable account. I was not aware that you actually received one. That's scary. Not sure if I must declare that I have this account. My guess, yeah, I would. Listen, I would definitely declare that you do. It's totally legit. And it's fantastic that you were able to get one, because it will allow you to save, if I recall, like $100,000 in an account that will have no impact on your Medicaid qualifications. So that's very cool. Bunmaster, do I need an attorney to apply for the first time? I know there's several here that have applied on their own. So the answer is no, you don't. Here at the Disability Digest, the membership that we have, there's no charge. And after you fill out your profile and we understand where you're at, you get access to our disability approval strategy that helps people get approved fast. And it does it with a 2-part strategy. We have a disability approval course, and that course will help you understand what to do and what not to do to go through the process. It's interviews with experts like Jonathan Ginsburg, attorney Carl Osterhow, an ex-Social Security employee, Barbara Mountain, 64 different success stories from fine folks like you that have used the course and the strategy. So you can use that, no charge, go through, manage your own case, fill out the forms, work with a caseworker at Social Security. You can do all that, no charge, right? Some people don't want to do that. Some people want to know what needs to be done and they want to hire other people to do it. So that could be an option as well, where you could use, if somebody would accept your case, a disability representative to help you maximize your chances of winning or doing the work or doing what you don't want to do or what you're not comfortable with. So the answer is no. Here you have options. Okay, time for a couple more here. If you receive SSDI, do you have to report an upcoming pension that will be received? Pension is unearned income. So no, you don't. If it's earned income, then yes, you do. Earned income meaning like I'm working today, right? I'm doing this for work, what I do for a living. If you're doing a job or something like where you're generating income, that you need to report. Let's see, how, when doesn't attorney, the question doesn't make sense. How, when attorney doesn't have my records, they're dragging on. I think what you're saying, attorney doesn't have your records and it's dragging on. I don't know what dragging means. I think one of the key things that would provide you and others going through the process is to understand the time frame that it takes. I'm not saying that there isn't any wrongdoing here. I'm not trying to support some person I don't know. But you know, sometimes Social Security will tell you it's 5 to 6 months for an initial decision. But fact is, in Texas and Florida, it's like over 200 days, which is close to a year for an initial decision. And there isn't anything you can really do about it. It's just a backlog. It's the nature of the unfortunate beast. More questions about the regulation, which below this, the show notes, around the show notes, is how much money you can make and get your benefits, how much money you can make and keep your benefits. And here's another variation of it. So if I'm a 1099 contractor, can I earn $1,350 net a month? Yes. Yeah, it's your net if you're a contractor, because it's going to take you expenses to earn that cell phone, internet, printer, you know, I don't know what you're doing, but other related expenses. Would a 3-year review be 3 years from the approval date? It could be. Yeah, it's 3 years from when you were approved. But they're not on time, believe it or not. Okay, I was approved by just applying because I found to be legally blind, but I have to wait for my insurance. My review date is 5 to 7 years. I do not have back pay. Okay. Yeah, if you're visually impaired and your vision cannot be corrected to better than 20/200 in your bad eye, then, you know, you've got an exam. That makes it really easy for Social Security to say, hey, you qualify. The challenge is, you know, if you have an autoimmune condition, or if you've got a spinal condition or something where, you know, maybe there's some images and other supporting evidence, but it's not as clear cut as that. That's where the challenges come. Let's see, if I go through the Ticket to Work program and it's a success, then something happens to me down the road, let's say 7, will it be difficult to get back on disability benefits? They do have a re-entry program. And I'm in hopes that it is successful. The challenge why I don't have a concrete answer on this is there's 191,000 people here. There's very few people, maybe 7 that I've met that have actually migrated off of benefits, gone into the Ticket to Work program. So I just don't know. Most people that are here, they want to work and earn and just earn money every month and stay below the legal limit, which is totally fine. So I know that. Oh, by the way, 2 weeks from today, we're having a Ticket to Work expert come out. And also somebody who has gone through the disability approval process, got approved, and migrated back through the Ticket to Work program. So we're going to have both sides of it here in 2 weeks at this live event. So make sure you ring the bell, subscribe, watch your invites so that you're here for that one. That should be interesting. Okay, I've been on disability for 5 years, never had a CDR. Should I be concerned? I wouldn't be concerned. I'd just be prepared. You're going to be subject to one up until you reach your full retirement age. How many times could I be reviewed? I've been reviewed once. Well, you could be reviewed all the way up until your full retirement. So if you have a review every 3 years and you get approved at 50, then, you know, I don't know, somebody do the math for me. That's every 3 years until your full retirement age. Ryan, refer back to somebody's previous question. I may have missed some. This is my trusted assistant, Jan, is not here today, so I'll see. Okay. I think I addressed this, denied round 1 reconsideration. Let's see if there's another one. I don't see it, but you're welcome to send it to support or re-enter it here in the time that I have. So what I want to do right now is I want to put in a few resources for you so that you can get some help. And the first one is, if you're not a member or your status has changed, then I encourage you to update us with the link I'm putting into the Disability Digest. Just click on the free membership green button. And how that helps you is this: when you can watch all these videos and attend all these, it's more of a shotgun approach, but for a direct personalized approach, if we know where you're at in the process and what your concerns are by filling out the evaluation, then we can get you exact information. You know, not only information, we get you in touch with the right people. We have support groups for our members, in addition to the resources that they can get involved in. So it's a much more efficient way to get assistance. And then I'm going to put the link in to Dr. Glenn's gift here. And it's a free book link. And I'm going to put it in the chat, and then I'm going to show you on the screen. And so I'm going to put it in there. And then, folks, if you just have a look at my screen, I will show you. This is the page that the link is going to lead you to. When you come down below and you enter your email address, you get access to the free book that Dr. Glenn gave us. So that's cool. Okay. All right, let's see here. I'm going to take one more question and then I'm going to wrap up. Brian, website, so great info. Well, okay, perfect. Thank you for the comment and the feedback, Karen. Well, I don't take this work lightly. This is your income and getting it. And I really appreciate the feedback when you say that, because we work hard to help you keep and maximize your disability benefits. And we like to have some fun along the way. So thanks for all that. So listen, I'm going to wrap it up for today. We'll be back next week. Next week, we're going to hit the highlights of the key things that you need to do to keep, and maximize your disability benefits in 2023, taking a condensed version of all the key things that we've done, not just last year, but in prior years. We're going to go through those. Of course, we'll answer your questions in 2 weeks from now. We have some special guests back that are going to help you understand the Ticket to Work program, which you're getting questions about. You hear real life experience from somebody that got approved and then back on the benefits. So we appreciate all of you. Make it a great day. Until the next time. Thank you.